Oui, yes, good afternoon. As a lawyer, I would first underline that it is not the same if you have to obtain a good rule of law or if the rule of law exists and is violated. Now, before 1945, to explain what is the sovereignty of the nation and the content of it. Before 1945, there was no international rule of law. Only powers agreeing or disputing to share the power on the peoples on their territories. And after the tragedy of the first half of the 20th century, was edicted an international law, universal, equal, obligatory for everybody, the Charter of UN Nations. And that UN Charter is historical, a break with the past. For the first time, is provided and proclaimed the power of the people. In the wonderful preamble of the Charter is, we people of United Nations decided to, etc., decided to unite our efforts, and our government signed this charter. This means, first, that the people are speaking. The people decided. Their government only make what they decided. And peoples, the plural. There is no one global people of the world, but peoples. Peoples, each one on various territory, with their obligation of mutual respect. We, peoples of nation. Nation is the identity of each people on its territory. Peoples of United Nations, these peoples must be mutually respecting and cooperating, be united. And they decide to unite their efforts, and the UN Charter, the organization, must be the place when the people, through their governments, cooperate and democratically decide together. It is not like that, of course. And the problem is now to see what means this, for which obligations, and how to obtain that obligation be respected. It means the sovereignty of people, and for each people the sovereignty of his nation. This is the base of the link between nation and sovereignty. This means what? This means that these people, each people must have a state to be his instrument of self-administration and of international representation. But the state is not a sovereign. The state is the instrument of sovereignty of the people. And this means that it is the people with the right to preserve its unity, to separate. All the decolonization was on the basis of the right of the people for self-determination. But the right also to make a federation with another, on mutual respect of independence, on the cooperation, or to agree to be together, to be one people with one state, and if we are one people, not to be divided, to be recognized in the right to be one with one state and to be independent. The independence is a necessary consequence of the self-determination. And this, in the Charter, it is a base of the Charter. Article 2.4 of the Charter forbids any member of the Union that's in a state in the world, forbids any state to attempt, under any kind, to attempt to the independence of another one. And even the Article 2.7 forbids the UN, the UNO, the Organization of United Nations, to interfere, to immix in domestic matters of a state, because it is an attempt to the principle of self-determination. This is the basis. This means, for example, that the right of self-determination of Korean people make that nobody is entitled over the world to forbid or to oblige him to anyone, to anything. He is the only master of his future, deciding its unity. This is the right, but also under independence. And we can see that now the division of the people is the interest of the dominating power. More they divide, or they keep dividing the people, more it is for them an easiness for domination. And you can see now what is happening with Mali in Africa. It is a division for financial exploitation of Sahara. And Mali is in the right to impose his unity against the aggression he's facing. For Korea, the right of unity is a matter of Korean. Nobody can interfere. And this is leading about the problem of independence. Independence, and also the problem, not only here, over the world. The great problem actually of the attempt to a basic principle of the Charter named collective security. The principle of collective security of the Charter, based on the interdiction of use of force, of threat of force, by any member against others, make that the only preservation of security belongs to the Security Council. But even the Security Council has only one competence: maintain or restore peace, to forbid any aggression. Nothing else. And when in many opportunities he made other things, it was an attempt to the Charter by the Security Council, for example, about Syria. So, this means that only the Security Council can use force, only with international forces recruited by him, and under the international État-Major staff of the Security Council. And any member, any state, any group of states making any act of police everywhere over the world, it is illegal. It is an attempt to the principle of collective security. And we can, for example, say that the NATO can be compared to a militia an armed group in a state. NATO is totally illegal under international law. International bases, foreign bases, are illegal. And you talk about Japan. Japan is also solidary. And our friends of democratic lawyers of Japan, Jarisa, are fighting against the US bases of Okinawa. We are in France fighting against a French base of Abu Dhabi. Any military foreign bases is an attempt, an illegal attempt to the principles of universality, equality. It is a confiscation of the universal power for private. So, we are in actuality there. The problem is that this is a law, but the law is not implemented. Why? Because the law was conquered against the dominating interest. And they, of course, want to ignore the law. What is the way to obtain not a court, of course? Because a court will need also to have struggled to impose the good running of the court. The problem is that there is no recept except the solidarity of the peoples. Solidarity of the peoples, how? First, because all the peoples over the world must be solidary with the people victim of an attack for two reasons. D'abord, a selfish reason. Under the principle of indivisibility of the law, what you are law against one, you are law to be against you later. So, we are solidary for this selfishness. And we are also solidary, duty of solidarity, for our accountability. Because since the Charter theoretically gives us the power upon our government, all what is made by our government is made on behalf of us. So we are accountable of what makes our government, and we must impose our government to have a good behavior and the respect of justice. That is why all is in hand of the people, depend exclusively of the solidarity of the peoples, but peoples who must know that not only it is their interest, but they have the power under the Charter. We people of United Nations. So, there is no other answer than people of the world be united under the Charter to make prevail your common interest by mutual respect and development.